What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Cheeky Crypto once again. I am JB. This is an update for Cardano's ADA. On that most recent video we did do, well, we were talking about this potential bull flag that was forming, and from that point of recording, guys, we have seen another 15% increase in Cardano's price. Of course, today we have seen PPI come in a little hotter than expected over in America, and we have indeed seen the price pull back down towards 75 cents. It actually hit as low as 74.33 as of recording on this Binance chart. So we're going to look at this on the weekly, the daily, the hourly, have a look at some on-chain data as well for Cardano's ADA. How is ADA looking overall? Are we still bullish? Can we still target up towards 90 cents? Let's get into it. Fantastic to have you all back with us once again. Before we do get into the video, guys, as always, please do hit the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell. Subscribe, of course, being probably the most important. We want to see this channel to continue to grow. We can only do that with your help, so we do thank you for hitting subscribe. Now, Cardano's ADA, we were talking about this bull flag that was forming on the daily charts, and we have indeed seen that progress, pushing up towards 81.04. We, of course, have seen that price pull back towards 74.3 cents today. Like we mentioned on the intro, PPI coming in a bit hotter than expected over in the States. Of course, that has brought down the rest of the market. But it still looks like Cardano's ADA is in a good spot, and I do think we still have the chance of pushing up towards 81, perhaps as high as 88 cents. But there's also a possibility of this pushing up a little higher. Now, we can see the stochastic on the daily has continued to reset, now sitting around about 12%. So momentum is looking to shoot back up for ADA on this daily time frame, and I do still see the price pushing on up. Now, yesterday on the Cheeky Cipher, we were giving that go long signal, the buy signal here, and that has obviously been confirmed with today's candle. We can take a note of the money flow. It is very positive, the VWAP in itself turning positive, which indeed gave us that buy signal. So the cipher also aligning with the thoughts here that ADA is still very much bullish. That is a given. Momentum is in our favor, and I do think we have got the potential to push on up 81, 88 cents. But when we take a look at historical liquidity here for Cardano's ADA, well, very interestingly, what we can see at 90 cents is a big pocket of liquidity. Is Cardano's ADA likely to push up and grab that liquidity, or are we going to see the price grow even higher? The main reason we pick out the 90 cents is we can see this is the thickest, the biggest point of historical liquidity. Yes, of course, there is liquidity further down in the charts, but what we can see, smart money concept giving us the week high, this big pocket of liquidity sitting above the price, it does look likely that this bull flag will continue to pay dividends for us and push up towards that 90 cent level. Now, what we can also look at here with this bull flag, if we take the 100% move that we did see on the pole for this bull flag, we've done this in the previous video, and we bring it down to that swing low that we had at 66.50 cents. Well, the price action is looking to come up towards 91.22, where we would see this liquidity block on the charts completely filled out for Cardano's ADA. So I do think we are still incredibly bullish on this daily time frame, and we should be looking for that push up towards 90 cents. Now, from its current price, we are looking at quite a dramatic increase. We can see that would be about another 19, perhaps 20% gains for Cardano's ADA. Is it possible? I think it is incredibly possible to see us push up to at least 90 cents here, given what we are looking at on the charts. With the liquidity, with the one-to-one on that bull flag, with momentum being in our favor, with the Cheeky Cipher also telling us that momentum and price action is indeed in our favor. Guys, I'm very bullish on Cardano's ADA right now, and I do think we have that potential to continue on its push to the upside. Now, when we do drop it down onto the hourly charts here, we can take a note of a few interesting things. We are showing an ascending wedge here. We can take this onto its highest point from the 4th of March, where we did see the price up at 79.82 cents on this BitGet chart. Of course, BitGet on these lower timeframes where we do 100% of our leverage trading. Many offers for you guys. If you have not experienced BitGet yet, there's fantastic sign up bonuses all in the description down below. Do not sleep on BitGet. That one is going to be huge. But this ascending wedge is overall very bullish in my opinion for ADA. We can see the touch points on the lower extremities of this wedge where we do see it rising. But what we can see is we are finding the 50 EMA, the 50 SMA as support. And on the dump we did see today, well, we have once again came down to test out the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA, currently finding those also as support. Can we break down a little further to test out the white 200 EMA? That's currently sitting here at 74.11 cents, and it is possible for us to still come on down. But we also have equilibrium sitting just below us, around about 74.7 cents, where I have also drawn an intermediary trend line, where we can see that this was an area of high resistance for Cardano's ADA. We're looking to turn it into support. We can see how this one has been tested multiple times, most recently on the 14th of March, finding support on this trend line, and we can see the prices come down once again. We may see it wick down, test out equilibrium, test out that mid trend line, but overall, I do still think we are looking for ADA to bounce to the upside once again. We can see momentum on this hourly time frame has reset to oversold. But we do know on the 4-hour time frame, we are still looking for the 4-hour time frame to reset. That has just started to curl itself back to the downside. It is sitting at 72%, so perhaps the 4-hour may just see a bit of a deeper correction before we look for the next push to the upside. But once again, we can see how this has not fulfilled its 100% moves north to south or 0 to 100, vice versa. This one I think can go either way considering where the price action is currently sitting. Should that 4-hour look to continue to the downside, its 50 EMA and SMA are sitting around about 74.2 cents. So we could see a touch point onto there, or perhaps come on down to test out the lower trend line. Once again, sitting around about 72.9 cents. So there is not a dramatic amount of downside here for Cardano's ADA. In my opinion, we are looking to come down, find a bit of support within this 74 to 72 cent level, then look for that next push to the upside. Where on the daily chart, we can see we would be finding that area as a good level of support with historical candles, then be looking for that push to the upside. Like we covered, 81, perhaps 88 or even 90 cents. Now we will quickly come over, have a look at some of the on-chain data. Of course, that will be over here at memberships.cheekycrypto.io. You guys are well aware by now there is a membership here for everyone. Come on over, explore it, get all of this unbelievable information that you do need. For today's purpose though, we're of course coming into the data zone and the data portal, where we're going to have a look at the on-chain data for Cardano's ADA. Displayed here, the all-time high of $3.09. We are 75% from its all-time high, and in my opinion, this is still a fantastic level. Should you be looking to accumulate Cardano's ADA, I'm not concerned about the prices as they do sit. Yes, I do still expect lower prices, but even getting in at the 76-cent level, I still think in the long run is going to be a fantastic opportunity. Now, previously we did talk about the wallet counts. We're going to have a quick look at these. We're not going to spend too much time on them for today, but we do start to see the bigger wallets selling off their ADA. Wallets holding over 1 million ADA, down 0.18% in the last 7 days. Nothing critical here, guys. This is a drop of 5 wallet counts holding over 1 million ADA. But the previous analysis we did do, we were talking about this slight curve we are starting to see to the downside. It is down 1.25% in the last 90 days. This has continued over the last 24 hours, down 0.12%. The wallets holding over 10,000 ADA, well, down 0.77% in the last 90 days, down slightly over the last 24 hours, but once again, nothing overly concerning. The wallets holding over 1,000 ADA, down 1.27% in the last 90 days. In the last 24 hours, a slight drop of 0.05%. But I've tried to cover this as much as I can. We can see profits being taken. We can see how these wallet counts are starting to curve to the downside. But this is not a high amount of wallets that are selling off. I would start to be a bit more concerned when we see this over 2.5, perhaps as high as 5%. But at the current rate, not overly concerned. I do class this as profits being taken in the market when we see these wallets dropping in size. Liquidations in the last 24 hours, there was $2.1 million worth of ADA positions liquidated. 55% longs, 45 give or take percent shorts. Binance, of course, being the exchange with the highest amount of liquidations, they took out $1.1 million worth of ADA positions in the last 24 hours. And we can see that as the grand market share, over 55% of total ADA liquidations, once again being Binance. Interesting to see that CoinEx liquidated more shorts than longs, but given the dollar value, nothing overly concerning. Always good to come back and check out your exchanges, grabbing any issues that may arise before they actually do. That's obviously how the team managed to catch FTX well in advance. Lastly, we will of course look at the TVL for ADA. And we can see this has picked up over the last 7 days, up 0.82% from 662 million ADA to 668 million ADA. So the TVL flashing positive over the last 7 days, which is fantastic. I've covered this one many times also. I expect to see the lockup for ADA well over $1 billion ADA locked up, and I don't think we're all too far from there. Granted, a market correction, I do think we will see the TVL start to drop down. But should we see that market correction, well, there's no point selling your ADA. And I do think at that point we will see the TVL also start to increase. So yes, a small pullback over the last 90 days, down 1.35%. But as we can see that this is just starting to pick up once again. Personally, I think everything is still looking incredibly bullish here for Cardano's ADA. I do still think there is the chance of pushing between 81, perhaps 88, perhaps even as high as 90 cent over the next period of time. The charts are still looking incredibly bullish in my opinion. Yes, we had negative PPI from the States today, and I think that's going to be a short-term setback for the market, liquidating some of those long positions. And from there, yes, I do think another push up. ADA, in my opinion, still looks good. Earlier today, I of course covered off Bitcoin. Very interesting things going on there. A potential long opportunity that didn't quite play out due to that PPI, but lots to cover off in that video. I do advise you guys to head on over, check that one out. That is obviously this video right here. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's update. I will catch you all in the next one.